All right, EdTech Dialect, content pages. So we're gonna we're gonna talk about. I know that the title says embeddable content, and we are gonna focus on that. But I also want to kind of show you some tips and tricks and some things that content pages can do for you and what they are. Basically, content pages are your space in Canvas that allows you to add the content that you wouldn't assign. And while there is the option to assign content pages, they're not going to be for points and things like that. So if you need to get information out to your students, whether it be just text, or maybe you want to share a video or a Twitter feed, you can do all that using content pages. If you want it to be a combination of links and videos and text, you can do that in a content page as well. Content pages also allow you to allow student editing. So you can make it so students can actually contribute to your content pages or an individual content page if you'd like to do that. If you use Canvas groups, content pages are available within your groups for those groups, and I will be showing you how to get to those as well. So a lot of versatility when it comes to content pages, and that's the whole point of this presentation. So one of the ways that I like to use a content page is as a home page to Canvas. It takes a little bit of design work on the front end, but it's really quite easy to do. Additionally, I like to view content pages as an example. Like I mentioned, you have the ability to allow students to edit content pages, so you could establish different wiki type pages where students and instructors can interact, add content, and contribute to the course depending on how you'd like to set that up. Maybe like a shared notes area or something like that right there within Canvas. And then you can establish it in a module, and students can easily find that content page as you go. Maybe it's something that is a resource page that students build or that you build. The beautiful thing about it is when you copy it forward to future courses, you have all that information still. You can use it as an example. You can use it as a resource for those students to access depending on what it is that you built. One of the items that's coming soon, and this is for all instances of the rich content editor, so what you see, that text area in assignments, pages, quizzes, discussions, is you're going to have the ability to drag and drop images. So if you've ever brought images into Canvas, you know that it's kind of a step-by-step process right now. Go to a file upload, add the file, add it to that area. Now you're going to be able to just drag and drop that image, which is something that has been needed for a long time. So that's kind of an aside there. So what I want to do is hop right over into Canvas and kind of show you around the Pages environment, point out a couple things that you need to be aware of, some items that can be a little bit confusing, show you from a student perspective, and a couple other items. So as I mentioned, you're probably familiar with this home page right here, this page, but this is actually a content page right here that I've established as my home page. And while it looks like it has a web page feel to it, literally all you're seeing right here is just an image that I had created. Okay, you're seeing a horizontal rule, which is something that I will show you that's very easy to add. Some text that I added using the rich content editor, a video that I embedded, and some other images. These are nothing more than images that I dragged and dropped in here, not dragged and dropped, but went through the upload process. And all I did was link them. Okay? Much like you would add a link to text, you can very easily add a link to an image. And so that goes a long way in kind of sprucing up your pages. I've had several instructors ask me to create course icons like this. I think I've made some for you, Michelle. But very easy to use and can really make your page look good. To access the page area, you simply go to Pages on your menu bar, on your navigation bar, your course navigation. And when you go to that area, the thing that often can be confusing is you can set a home page in your Pages area. So when you go to that Pages area, you're expecting to see a list of all your pages. You often don't. And in order to view all your pages, you have to click on that button that says View All Your Pages. And when you do that, you'll be brought to a list of all of the different content pages you have. Now recently, Canvas added the option to duplicate pages, which is a really great feature. So you don't, if you have like a template that you use, instead of recreating a whole page from scratch, you can just click on a page and you can duplicate it. Okay? More on that here in a little bit. Okay? I mentioned the home page. It's very easy for you to establish a page as your front page to the pages area. You simply click on a page and click on use as front page if you'd want to do that. All right. And so let's get into the embedding of content. And I've set up an environment here. If I just go to my modules area, this is outside the Canvas core that I was just showing you. But as far as embedding content, there's several different ways that you can do that. So these are all different content pages here that I set up as examples. And the first one that I have is just an example of a video embed. Now you may have noticed that if you want to bring a YouTube video into Canvas, all you have to do is copy the web address into it, okay? And it will give you this right here, all right? Technically, that's not embedding a video into your content page, but it's Canvas's way of providing a preview there. Embedding a video looks more like this, okay? We can actually click it, we see it, and we can play it right from here. Don't ask why I shared the video that I did, but I went to YouTube and I found this video interesting. It's this guy that just makes a bunch of things, lives out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. Maybe somewhere, somehow I want to do that myself. I don't know. Until I do it for a couple hours and I'm bored. I need something. I need power. But you can see that I've embedded several different of the same video right here in just different sizes. Now, to get that video in there, it's quite simple. All right. All I have to do, is go over to YouTube, or any place that will provide me with embed code. And so I have this video here that I found very interesting on the internet, but I just go down to share here. And when I click on that, it will give me options to share. But there's also a button to embed the video. Okay, and when I click on that, it's going to give me some code. To most people, that code doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't have to, because all that you need to do is copy it. Okay, so you can select it and just click on copy. And you're going to take this back over to Canvas. And I'm on a content page right here. So I simply click on edit. Now, when you're in your rich content editor like this, all right, this is where you are able to go in here and type things out and put what you need to put. But if you see up in the upper right hand corner, there's an HTML editor. Okay? All that you need to do is open that up, okay? And there's going to be a whole bunch of gibberish. It's code. Okay? It's just basic HTML code. And all you need to do is paste that code that you copied. All right? So all I did was I pasted that code in there. I don't have to do anything else. It's there. Okay? Now if I go back to my rich content editor, we can see that just like that, once it loads, there's the video that I just added. All right, I need to do nothing else. And right from there, it will play for your students to see. Okay? It's simply a matter of going and getting that embed code from YouTube, pasting it into the HTML editor. But that's how you embed a video. Let me see, you want to make sure I don't miss anything. For those of you that use Sway or have used Sway, Sway is another presentation option from Microsoft. But Sway, much like YouTube, provides us with embed code. So if I wanted to take a presentation that I created in Sway, I want my students to be able to see this. So for example, I have this presentation on OneDrive. I can just go up to share, and once again, okay, we see a button. Got to kind of look for it a little bit, but you can see get embed code. Okay, so it's a matter of trying to find that embed code. And just like we did with YouTube, we can take this over to, I'm just going to go ahead and leave this, another content page. I've named this one appropriately. And you can see I've already done this, so there's no sense in me going through the steps again. But you can see that this Sway will actually load right here on my content page. Okay, and whether it be myself or the students, I can go through this presentation right from here. Okay, Now, even though it looks like I'm scrolling down my content page, you can see that this content up here isn't moving. The item that's scrolling is my sway presentation right here. So I'm actually going right through the presentation. Okay, I can see all the different things that I want to share, show what I need to show, okay, and it's embedded right in that content page. So students don't have to navigate out. They don't have to click on a link and hope that that link keeps working because it's right there within the content page. Now, a lot of you use Kahoot. The reason I sent that email had nothing to do with this presentation, the email earlier in this week. But Kahoot doesn't provide you with embed code. But you do have the ability still to run a Kahoot right from a Canvas content page. In that case, all you need to do is go out and find an iframe generator. Iframe is what allows you to embed content into a content page. And so you can just do a Google search, but I'll use like iframegenerator.com. And all I had to do was take the web address to my Kahoot, and I just paste it in the iframe URL here, and then click generate, and it will actually generate the code needed, like that code that we took from YouTube, like that code that we took from Sway, and I can bring that right on over into my content page. And as you can see right here, I'm in Canvas, but I can start my Kahoot right from here. Okay. And so that's something that takes a couple extra steps, and it might not be something that you walk out of here and feel confident in doing yourself, but I just want you to know that even if you can't find the embed code, it doesn't hurt to ask me or ask the service desk and say, hey, this is something I'd like to put into an assignment or a content page or something like that. Is it possible? Can you help me? And we can help you with this. Or you can do some seek and search on your own. Okay, totally up to you. But just as far as Kahoot goes, totally possible for you to embed the items in there. Another thing that's cool with the content page is it's very easy for you to add buttons like this. Okay, so while these are something that you might think like, wow, you threw some code in there and you made a button, which is possible, you can kind of cut some corners. And all these buttons are images. Okay, these are images that I had created. And if I click on them, you can see that it will actually take me to external links. And I have them set so that they open in a new tab. And each of them do that. Okay. It should load. It should work. There we go. But as far as creating those buttons, I just went to a website called The Button Factory. And they just create simple buttons like that. You can set what it says. Okay, so I'm going to change that to 3. I set the color of the text. You can choose what type of, whether you want a fully curved sides or you want just rounded rectangle. Those are your 2 choices. So it's low on choices, which sometimes is good. I set the background color. There's a couple other options, and it's pretty basic. And when you're done, you just click on download, and here is my button right here. So I can take this back to my content page, click on edit, and the button factory. Somebody's probably making a bunch of money for creating a simple button generator. But I'm going to go ahead and just go to my images. I'll go ahead and add that new image that I just created. Should only take me a moment. And just like that, there's our button. Okay. Now I mentioned that I linked it. What I recommend is that when you're linking things in Canvas, yes, there is this rich content link button here that's really nice. But if you use, I think it's Control-K on a Windows and Command-K on a Mac device, if you do it this way, okay, you have more options. Well, you have one more option. And that's the option to, when users click on your link, it opens in a new tab. Okay, meaning it doesn't navigate away from your content page, which is a very nice thing to add. So I'll add a link to the button factory on this 3rd button. So go ahead and paste the button URL in there. And I'm going to change my target to a new window and click OK. Okay. And now my button should be working, so I'm going to save it. And I'm telling you, just like this, you have links on your content pages that make you look like a serious web designer. Okay, and you click on that, and it takes us in a new tab and takes us to the button factory. Now, don't hold yourself back, okay? Because the sky is the limit with adding these image links like this. So if I go back to a different example page, or go to a different example page that I have, I just went and did a Google image search, and I searched for transparent images, okay? And these are actually links to different items, okay? So if we go to Spider-Man, okay, you can see I click on him, and it takes me to a web page on hydropower, all right? And you can add text to these as well, just by typing the text, maybe more of a description as to what it is, okay? Or you can ask somebody, and he'll make you these icons if you'd like, with more description on them. But you can see all I did was add, just like I did with the buttons, I added a hyperlink to them, and it takes just as long as putting a text link in there, but it kind of spruces up your page a little bit. Okay, and as you copy this content forward to your future courses, those buttons, those links, everything like that goes with you to use in the future. All right. Now, a couple things about setting up a content page. I mentioned that you can actually assign content pages now. You ever have it where you, hey, did you read the content page that I put out there? No, I didn't. Well, now you can make it so that on the student's to-do list in Canvas, they see a content page as a thing to do. Even though there's nothing they're going to turn in, there's no questions in it, there's no discussion to it, you can set it so that they say, hey, I got to go look at this. They're actually going to have to click or can click on a link to it. So when we go to edit our content page, after we've done all the fun stuff, we look down below here and we have a couple options. And these are easy to overlook because when you're thinking editing content pages, you're thinking, I just have to put my content on here, my links, my information, whatever it is, and I'm done. And we don't think to assign, or we don't think to have the ability to allow students to edit it. But right here, there's a couple different options. Okay? And one of those options by default is that the only teacher is going to be able to edit it, but you can make it so teachers and students can edit it. You can make it so anyone, meaning all users, so if you have a TA or somebody like that, they can actually do some editing to it as well. Okay? But just so you're aware, you do have the ability to give the students the ability to edit content pages. So if you wanted to set up a wiki using a content page, if you wanted to set up shared notes or something along those lines, you can do that. Additionally, like I said, you have the ability to assign. Okay, basically all that's doing is adding it to their to-do list, and you do that simply by checking a box, and then you can set up a date and time if you'd like to do that. One last other item that can be notable: if you update your content page and you want to make sure your students or other users are aware of it, there's a checkbox right here for that. Okay, this is something that's easy to overlook, but as you're constantly updating content pages, you might have students that have already looked at it and you added new information and you want them to see that. Now obviously if it's something like a shared notes or something that is going to be updated frequently, that might be a little bit annoying, but just a heads up that that is there. So now if we go to the student perspective, okay, we can actually see if I'm on that content page that as the student, I have the ability to click on this to edit it. Okay, so it actually does work. If I go to my dashboard as a student, you're going to see that you have the to-do list, which the students pay attention to. Most of your students pay attention to their to-do list. Okay, and you're going to see that if they haven't set it up this way, right here, that content page is now on their to-do list. It's something that they have to do. Okay, even though technically the do in this case is just to view, okay, it's still going to show up, and that didn't happen before. That's a new feature as of I think September. If you haven't let your students know about this view right here, whenever I go to GNST or any of those other courses that I'm asked to present in, I do try and point this out. But this is a view for students that will actually show them their course cards, but also what's coming up in each course. All right, and as they complete those items, they can actually check them off, and they can also add to-do items for themselves as well. Okay. Last thing that I want to point out is the utility of the groups area. If you use groups in your courses, Each student will have pages available to them in their groups area, and groups will actually show up on their global navigation. So you can see I'm actually a student in one of my test courses. So if I click on this Project 2 group that I'm a part of, the groups have their own little Canvas environment. Okay, and within that they have their own separate discussion board. This is not the course discussion board. This is the group discussion board. They also have their group pages area. So if they wanted to set up different pages for within their group, they can do that as well. Okay, your students can do that. And you as the instructor can take a look at it. You can visit these different group areas. So maybe it's just for a project they're working on, or maybe it's for something that's ongoing in the class. Pretty cool that there is functionality for pages within that area. Now I am running out of time, but I did want to point out one thing that I overlooked, and I think that this website is awesome, and I'd forgotten about it, but it's called thinglink.com, and there's so much utility for pretty much any different class that you can think of, and it also embeds into content pages. And let me actually go to the content page. The pictures are free. You can add your own images, and actually the example that I'm going to show you, it's called thinglink.com. So here's Thinglink right here from the student perspective. And it will actually allow you to take an image and put different points in the image. And you can see it's embedded in here. So I just took this image, and it's got different information about different areas. Now you might, instead of things to do in Michigan on summer road trips, you might talk about like the sky. You can actually post videos here. Come on, give me a good one. Okay, so there's the native fish of Lake Huron, and you can read more about it. So your students can actually take something, whether it's a book, a picture of a book, or a library or something, and put different points added around it. It would be great for like biology or something like that, to take an animal map and actually put more information into it. So if I'm viewing this, oh, this is Gravel Island out here on the horizon, I can click this video and learn more about Gravel Island. Okay. You as an instructor can set these up. You can have your students set this up. It is a free resource, yes. So if I go to thinglink.com, and so there is a place where you can go and find ones that have already been created. You can create your own by uploading an image if you'd like. And then once you do that, let me see if I can actually add or go to mine and edit it. Here we go. So I can take my one that already exists here, and I can add more points on it. So if I wanted to put a point up in the sky to link to a website that tells you why the sky is blue, I could do that. If I wanted to link to a video, pretty much anything that you wanted to do. Maybe I want to talk about this native plant species that grows right here. I could put a little button here that any user that's viewing this can click on it and look at it and say, oh, that is this plant that is native to this region. So totally kind of on a tangent for this presentation, but I think it's a really cool free tool that you as the instructor can put into a content page. You can have the students turn in, just a different way of doing a project. So I set this up, you set it up right in here on the website, and then when you're ready to take it over to Canvas, you just use the embed code like we did for YouTube or Sway.